Guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and early, 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, I want to talk about an article I came across. This is one particular article out of about a half dozen that I was thinking about talking about. It was on the Daily Wire. The link is down below. The title of this is 7 Things I Saw on the U.S.-Mexico Border. It's from the Daily Wire. The link, like I said, link's down below. Now, the gist I got out of this is this person is a conservative Trump supporter that's saying, the way I understood this article is this: he's saying that within the last 20 days, let's see, January 20th, February 19th, 20 days. Biden has been in control for 20 days, right? Oh, in the last 20 days, this is the horrors that have become the U.S.-Mexico border. This is what I saw. This is what hurt my eyes when I went to the U.S.-Mexico border. All right. And I'm going to tell you the truth. After I read these things, I swear to God, I had to Google the Daily Wire because I thought I was wrong. I didn't think they were. I thought they were left-leaning liberal because I thought they were making their argument for me and how little Trump has done over the last 4 years. All right, so this writer, I tried to look for the writer. I didn't find it. I didn't spend a lot of time, but I didn't find who wrote this article. The writer says that he saw clothes hanging from on the wall, on the barbed wire. You know, I don't know if he's trying to say that all of a sudden people started trying to, over the last 20 days, all these people's clothing got caught on the, I don't know if there's date stamps on the clothing, but I highly doubt all this clothing, this sun-stained clothing, has come from the last 20 days. It's from people scaling the wall. Again, that's an indictment of Trump's wall, and people go doing anything to get around it or over it. I don't know how he's trying to make this an argument against Biden in the last 20 days, clothing hanging from the wall. All right, so he talks about ranchers being unsafe. All of a sudden in the last 20 days now, they've been unsafe. If it's just taken 20 days for everything to go to hell, then that wall wasn't too safe to begin with. All right, then he talks about these large swaths of land that have no wall. All right, let's talk about that. I asked a family member, a Trump supporter, how many miles? Oh, the wall, Donald Trump's wall. Remember, like 4 years ago, he's going to build this big, beautiful, great wall. Because he builds the beautifulest, the best walls. He knows walls better than anybody. And Mexico's going to pay for it. Mark his words. Mexico is going to pay for it. Yeah, do I even need to go there? Anyway, 300 miles of wall. All right, and most of that was just rehabbing old sections. All right, so how many actual miles of new wall? So I asked my Trump-supporting relative, well, how many miles of border is between Mexico and the United States? They didn't know. It's about over 3,100 miles. So Trump is, even if we say this is new wall, which it isn't, he's managed to cover 1/10, not even 1/10 of the span in 4 years, building his great, beautiful wall that people can just scale over and catch their clothing on. And there's big holes in it, and the ranchers are still scared. Now, this is making the argument for me. I had to go back and look to see if the Daily Wire isn't actually a liberal media site. I swear to God. Because I thought they were making the argument for me. All right, then he talks about a school. Schools are in lockdown on the border. It shows one school. He talks about one school about the size of this house. It's a cement brick building, a very small building. It looks like a preschool. And supposedly it goes into lockdown because of dangerous activity in the area. The writer says it's because of a traffic way between Mexico and America. And again, what's that say about Trump's efforts? Over 4 years and this stuff's still going on? And it's one school. Again, this article was an indictment over how pointless this wall is. This wall goes over mountains, through rivers, streams, lakes, sanctuaries, Native American land. Okay, if he managed to cover, even if we give him the credit that he covered 300 miles of new wall, which he didn't, it would take him over 40 years to cover the length at that rate. Supposedly he's been doing great, right? It would take him over 40 years. Now, over 40 years, I would say about every couple of years, you'd have to go back and redo the wall constantly to where weather or people or whatever The climate has, you'd have to go back and fix it. So it would take you wouldn't be able to cover, even in 40 years, you'd still have to go back and work on old sections. What I'm saying here is this is futile. It's a futile project. If this is the best that can be done, what Trump did in the last 4 years, then it is a futile project, because it's going to take 40 years to cover the whole thing, and that's not counting going back and fixing parts continually. In other words, it'll never be done. It can't be done. All right. There's so much more. Like I said, I thought this article was making the argument for me. All right, let's talk about the substances going back and forth across this border. All right, it's amazing when I hear Trump supporters and everything talking about, slowing down the flow of drugs back and forth. The billions of dollars, when they don't even talk about where it's going, the demand. As long as you have a demand, you're going to have a supply. And this demand is unquenchable. It's never ending, day and night, every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people across this country. That demand is unquenchable. Maybe. Look, I'm one person that's been in recovery 14 years. On average, I was spending at least $100 a day. With an opiate addiction, every single day I needed that. Not even a couple times a day. Just to function, just to get out of bed. We won't get in it. It's a nightmare. I'm just one person. Over $100 a day. Easily $1,000 a week. Easily. Okay? I did that for 2 decades. $1,000 every day for 2 decades. Imagine all that money from just me going back across the border. And that's another point I want to make too, is a lot of that money is going to China. And there's still a big trade with another drug that I'm not going to mention here. It begins with F and ends with an L. And that ain't coming from Mexico. And there seems to be very little talk still about all the people that are dying from that and where that's coming from. And I don't understand why nobody's talking about that. But anyway, now imagine if you worked on just getting people into recovery. I'm one person. Now, spending $1,000 a week, over $100 every day, 365 days a year, that's easily over $40,000 I would spend in 1 year. One person. Now imagine in my small town, a town of 1,000 people, there's got to be over 100 people in this town in the same position as me. Another 100 people times 56,000. Now we're up to over $250,000 just in this little town. Saved in this year. You see what I'm saying? If you worked on recovery and stopping the demand, it would immediately, there would be less money for them to build the submarines, to build the gliders, to build all the other infrastructure. The endless amount of income that the people on the other side of the borders are getting to bring this stuff in, and their incentive to do this. Really, recovery, and this is the answer here. Building a little 12, 20-foot wall in between all this money and all this substance. Do you think about it? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people demanding these substances every day. The greedy people on this side wanting those billions of dollars, and you're building a 20-foot little wall in between the two. And, all right, and one more thing I want to talk about now. Over the last few days, all right, I'm taking care of this property. I rent it. It's a big piece of property, and we've gotten a lot of snow in the last couple of days. A foot, a couple of feet, right? I get out there and I start shoveling because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy helping the people that were my neighbors. The people that own the piece of property aren't in this state right now. But I enjoy working and keeping this property good, putting work into it because they're my neighbors. All right, so I was out there shoveling, and my next door neighbor had a snowblower, and she came over and she just started snowblowing and just helped clean my driveway. She took her time, her energy, and her gas to come over and help me because she's a neighbor. It makes me helping my neighbor, her helping me. It makes the entire area more solid. It makes it look better. It makes it stronger. Now, the point I'm getting to is with immigration. If we helped the countries in Central America, and not just for our own good, just for oil or for arranging coups, so just so we could say we could put a democracy in and making these governments more unstable. If we actually help them as neighbors, instead of this America first and just us and screw everybody else policy, we make this entire continent and the entire world a more stable place, where you might not have this never-ending flow of people that want to come here if their own country was more stable. One neighbor helping another. It's I know it's a novel idea, but it might just work a little better than us first and screw everybody else. Just a thought. Sorry to steal Bo's tagline. Oh, I almost stopped the video before the end. Yesterday I made 2 videos and I forgot to talk about my paintings. Let's go to my paintings. All right. Here's one. This is one I'm very proud of. The idea here was a summer day, a summer morning, early in the morning with fog, a river with a rope swing. Like, just looking at this, this is an image I got in my head. I didn't get from any picture or anything. Just this image I got of a warm, humid summer morning and a river and a rope I used to swing on when I was a kid. So this is what I got from it, with the early morning sun, the pink coming through the background, the rope hanging. The tree came out especially well, or especially good. The river, the rope came out fantastic. So this is one of my paintings. Here's some small stuff. I made some necklaces. I got to work on getting the clasps and stuff. These are seashells I got from my local beaches. This is just stuff I do when I'm bored. Little stuff I create when I'm bored. Here's an abstract. This one always reminds me of a motorcycle. I don't know if I see handlebars here and kind of a gas tank skull here. This one always reminds me of a motorcycle. And if you see, I'm not going to give away how I made this, but it's not easy. All right, here's another one I did. I call this one Addiction, the Hollow Eyes. I donated one similar to this to the silent auction for Narcan. This one went over really big at the silent auctions for Narcan. A lot of people that are in recovery can relate to this image as an image of addiction, a hollow, soulless face. All right, now here's another one. When I was walking here in the fall through through the paths and backwoods here, I would look up through the holes in the trees and I'd see the sky up above, and I thought it would be so great to paint that. So as you can see, the trees are all pointing in as if I'm looking up at the sky. Now I got the idea of someone looking down at me, a godly figure, God himself. If you can see, I put a face in here. Can you see the eye, the nose? You see it there, the face? And I put a bird in too, just for the hell of it. So, yeah, that's that one. It's an idea I got walking through the woods here. This is one of my bigger ones. Now, I got some bigger ones over there that I'm working on. That one's got to do with climate change. That's a building, its first floor covered with the ocean water, like in Miami, let's say. I'm still working on that, as you can see. All right. I see I'm way over on time. You guys have a great Tuesday. I'll be back later with another video.